All right, aloha boys and beauties. What up? So, we're trying to wake up right now. If you guys watched the last video, we were skating at the beach all day, talking about mental health. That can be kind of draining. So we're over here, we're about to take our pre. We're at the gym, we're at Speakeasy Fitness here in North Hollywood. We're gonna go see our boy Dom. Yeah, and we're gonna hit a little bit of a push workout, maybe a little bit of legs if we have time or energy, because they're about to close pretty soon. So we'll link the last video, the mental health video where we're skating, and then also my intro to fitness and kind of mental health video before that one as well. So yeah, after our workout, Gav is gonna talk to us a little bit about some mental health and also some physical health stories that he wants to share. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of just spread awareness on his story and hopefully, you know, be able to reach out to other people and help other people out. So
yeah, let's get this pre in.
Let's do it, because we both need it, because we're both a little bit sleepy here.
Cheers.
So let's wake up. I got mine. Oh, actually, can I try a little bit of pump?
Yeah, you want a little of that gorilla mode pump?
Yep, from the Alani New. I don't know how much though, eh?
Just one full scoop.
So this doesn't really fuck with you like that much, right? Like,
no, you won't.
It doesn't make you
the
feel
only
like
thing
shit.
you might get a little stomach cramp, but like barely.
Oh, that's doable.
You know,
anything for the pump, right?
Yeah.
You ever just dry scoop?
Oh, we got
like
dry scoop, boys.
Oh, are you serious? Actually,
The boys always dry scoop.
That's right.
I'm taking the channel over. Dry scoop boys.
Dry scoop boys. Let's go. Pump up. L'chaim, cheers.
Yeah, when you notice them, that's for sure.
I feel like Jim Carrey in that one movie. You know who we're talking? So boys, we're sticking with the ectomorph season theme here. Those of you that didn't see my first video, check it out.
All right. See y'all in there?
Yep. Alright, I'm gonna hit a little bit of a warm up here. Let's just do like 5 minutes or so. Get the body temperature up, get a little sweat going. We're clearly not big cardio guys, huh? Not just kidding. Honestly, we probably skated what, like 3 miles today? At least. If that. Probably more. So yeah, we just did a little bit of spin. Both of our legs are dead, so let's go hit this push. Enough lollygagging. Try to get those elbows and shoulders back when you go up and activate the long head right there.
It started as a push day, ended as a pump day. Drop set. Thought you played hockey. Didn't know you're a bodybuilder.
All right, your turn. Let's see. How long? Look at that.
Like 3 days, you know?
Cut, man. All right, perks of being an ectomorph. Y'all hating on the lanky boys, but look at that.
Hating on the lanky gang.
Hating on the lanky gang.
That's where it's at, man.
That's right.
Eat your calories, maintain the gains, never grow, but...
Never grow, but when you do get a pump, you look unreal.
Your veins pop out.
That's right.
And that's all that matters.
Pick your poison, I don't know. Ectomorph season.
Ectomorph season.
Good workout.
Good shit, man.
All right. Good skate earlier.
Yes, sir.
Let's go get some, smoothies. Some big smoothie guys, huh? We'll go get a protein shake,
For sure.
talk a little bit, and yeah, good workout, boys. And girls, boys and beauties. What up? How are you, bud? Good, good, good. Yeah. You want to say what's up to the people? To the fans? There's no fans. Just kidding. Dom is a hockey player. He's attendee. So for all the boys, you know, he understands. He's got a 6 butterfly, no 5-hole. Can't beat this guy.
Never leave the 5-hole open.
Never leave it open. You can't beat this guy. Welcome back to the club. Keep the outdoor setup. You know, this is where we stay getting jacked during quarantine, you know? Come through. Get a pump on.
Ooh, I like the spot.
Thanks, man. Welcome.
Little studio in here.
Little stew, you know? We're gonna make some food, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of rice. Oh, let's make some veg, some broccoli, cauliflower, spinach.
Yeah. Sounds healthy.
Sounds healthy. Sounds healthy. Sounds like games. That's where all the magic doesn't happen. You know what it is. A little bit of rice made from veggies. It's mainly made of a blend of lentils, chickpeas, and rice. Amazing if you haven't tried it yet. Can't maintain that high energy all day. Sorry, guys.
Bump it up, man.
I know. Also, at the same time,
You chef?
Kiss the chef. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Yeah, well, she was dealing with some injuries, and then Dore knew that I'm good with people that like are coming back from injury or whatever. All right, let's go from 1 to hungry. How hungry are you?
Drop the camera.
Okay, baby.
You know how to sign out of one account on Google Docs?
I know how to sign out of one account on browsers. Right, sponsor us. Which pieces?
Got me like 2 or 3.
Good?
Appreciate it, chef.
Of course.
It's beautiful.
Bone apple teeth. Oh, long day, boys.
Very long day, man.
Boys and beauties.
Went from Manhattan all the way down to Manhattan to Hermosa.
Yeah.
Back up Hermosa, back to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where do we go from there?
All the way from the beach to North Hollywood, and yeah, back.
At
It
the pond?
is currently 11 p.m. We started our day at pretty much 11 a.m.
A little 12-hour day.
12-hour day. Not bad. All right. So, yeah, now it's down to the nitty-gritty. We're gonna talk about some real stuff, just like I was talking about previously in my last video. So I kind of shared my story. So now we're gonna leave the floor up to Gav. So everybody, round of applause. Gavin Luking. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I mean, that's whatever. My name is Gavin Luking. 23 years old. Moved to Cali about 4 years ago now. Met Cole at Blink Fitness when he was a trainer. I was working there.
Shout out.
Maintenance.
Yep. Shout out Blink fan.
And then from there, just kept building, kept growing. Us ectomorphs, growing one day at a time.
That's right. We had an immediate bond because, one ectomorph is one with another ectomorph. No, that's not right. That didn't come out right.
Yeah.
But,
something like that, though, So training and the different experiences and stuff, we definitely connected on a lot.
For sure. Yeah, we hit it off. I think immediately our first interaction was, I was the new trainer. You had been there for a bit already, and you had asked me for a little bit of advice, I think, with your shoulder, right?
Yeah, it was, I think at that time it was kind of general physical therapy and trying to train properly.
Yeah.
I started noticing, so I have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and I started noticing that I was doing certain workouts, and if I was doing them improper, it caused pain very quickly, like almost immediate. I can watch other people and I'm like, oh, they look like they're pushing through that, but I guess maybe it's because I hadn't built my foundation yet. I was still working on working up the kinks and different things, and I definitely didn't want to injure myself anymore because having RA and stuff, you don't want to cause any more inflammation than I already have. And RA is, it's an autoimmune disease that it causes chronic inflammation in your joints. I mainly feel it in my hands and feet.
Two of the limbs that we use the most.
Right? Yeah, so it's been a long battle. I was only diagnosed when I was 20, so it's been about 3 years since I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed about a year after I moved out to California. And that was a really big, setback. But, meeting someone like you who is really willing to guide someone through different workouts and physical therapy and not pushing them past the limit to the point where they're going to injure themselves. Yeah. But still pushing them to the point where, we're making progress, but at a rate that is worth it. You know what I mean? Right. Because a lot of trainers I had worked with before, they're so used to just pushing everyone and, oh, it's okay, and if you get injured, it's okay because they'll be back in a week. Yeah. But for someone like me, it's like that injury could take me a month to heal. It could take me 2 months to heal, or something like my shoulder where I haven't healed it in over almost a year now. So you really got to take it slow, and I was really, blessed to meet someone like you who was willing to do that for me.
Likewise, man. And, I think, honestly, you were one of the first people I had the pleasure of just working with that had, either some type of ailment or some kind of, injury. And I could obviously relate with, my own shoulder injury. And that took a long time for me to get better from, it still comes and goes. So I myself have a lot to thank from my buddy Dan Ramos, who was kind of mentoring me when I first started training. So he really helped me with my shoulder, and that kind of just translated with me pretty much showing you what I had learned from him on my own and through my school and program, and even just trial and error with my own stuff. So of course, it's a never ending kind of, I guess, battle. In your case, you're doing a lot of your own research. You're always trying to learn and grow. Let's talk a little bit about how early, like you said, you got diagnosed with it, and how typical or atypical it is to get diagnosed at that age, because it's typically a little bit later in life, right?
So, I found out about RA when I was a little bit younger. My mom got diagnosed with RA when she was about 40 years old, but it took her over 10 years to get diagnosed due to the fact that RA is not something you really develop when you're younger. Arthritis in general is not something you usually develop when you're younger. But when you have rheumatoid arthritis, it's an autoimmune disease. You never know when you're going to get it. But doctors want to, do this test and that test, and they want to try and figure out, can we work around this? And luckily for me, my mom got diagnosed when she was 40. So whenever I was growing up, even at the age of, I think it was 13 or 14, when I had started skateboarding, I started noticing really certain joints and especially my back was getting spasms a lot. I was locking up a lot, and I'm a kid, so I'm what's wrong? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I went to doctors at the same time too, and they said, stretch more and this and that, and I'm like, okay, and keep grinding and keep working out, and I'm skateboarding. But over time, I kind of realized it wasn't just it wasn't normal pains. You know what I mean? My friends would get up every day, keep skating, and I realized over time there was just days where I couldn't keep up. Yeah. And eventually I started having really bad troubles with carpal tunnel, having hand spasms. The back spasms were, just the beginning. Once it got into my hands and I was having hand spasms and like locking up, started photographing. I'm a photographer as well, photographer and videographer, obviously.
Clearly.
Stuff.
Kills it, by the way.
Appreciate
Check
it.
stuff out.
But once you start getting into your career and you're getting older, you really start to worry about different things, and you can't brush off as much and try and act so ignorant to your problems, your pain. So when I was about 16, I went to a doctor for my back again, and they told me stop weightlifting, stop skateboarding. You need to be pretty much just resting all the time. And at that time, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand why I'd sit at home and like end up atrophying my body for the rest of my life. Like that didn't make sense. I'm an athletic person. I love working out. I love moving around. And I think like
sports too.
Yeah, sports and just like staying active and healthy. And so this was like a big, hit for me. And it still tried to deny. I still skated until I was about mid 17 to 18 years old, and I realized that every time I went out, it was just progressively getting worse. And I couldn't risk falling on my hands or wrists anymore, because if I fell once on my hand or wrist, I was out. Like that wrist was hurt for weeks, and I started wearing wrist guards every day, wrist braces, and people were asking me everywhere, "What's wrong with you?" And I still didn't know at that time because I'm only 17 or 18. Battling, and finally I had to come to terms with it. I quit skateboarding. I never stopped lifting, but there was times where I had to take breaks.
Right.
To recoup and just keep trying to figure out, why is this carpal tunnel getting so bad? Why are these things getting so bad? Finally, I went and saw my general physician, referred me to a rheumatologist after talking about my mom. And then at the young age of 20, they diagnosed me.
Right.
And like I had mentioned, it's not really something you get younger. Luckily, my mom, had been diagnosed, so they knew it could be something genetics. Which I'm really lucky to find that out. And get provided the medicine, different things that can help, but they only help you so much. Doctors, rheumatologists, they're doing their best, but all they can do right now is put you in remission. And remission is just saying, okay, well, you're not feeling the worst today, but whenever the next day comes, give me a call. Right. And that's not how I want to live. So I've been doing a lot of my own research and trying to find different things that can benefit me in the long term and short term, and just never giving up on the ability that I can, stay healthy and stay moving. Because a lot of people that have RA, they kind of just give up. They say, okay, well, I can't work out anymore. I can't do anything. That's what my doctor told me. Well, that's it. And then they sit at home, and months later, a year later, 2 years later, they realize they can't move any of their joints. And you wonder why. It's because they're atrophied. Once your joints start crumbling, and then you're not moving and you're not building anything back, and you're getting older, your body's not going to keep, regenerating all this stuff. So I'm definitely, trying to figure it out. But obviously, there's no magical cure at this time. But anything I can do to stay a little bit healthier, stay a little more active, and keep my body moving is really what I'm focused on at this point.
Right. Yeah, it's
not to overwhelm me with all that.
No, for sure. And this isn't my first time hearing a lot of that stuff. Before I forget, I want to mention, because everything that you just said, it makes me think and relate to anybody that has health anxiety, hypochondria. I was listening to this podcast, and the psychologist on there was saying that anybody that has hypochondria, or a fear of let's say cancer, in my case, that's usually my fear. That person or myself has to actually live as if they do have cancer or that disease. You know what I mean? That's kind of the therapy behind it. And I have to remind myself that all the time. If you do have, let's say, this disease or this condition, yourself, if you do, and in your case, you do. For me, it's different, because I'm living in life of fear oftentimes that I do have it, but there's no proof. It's just just fears based off of maybe a discomfort or a pain or something that I read or something that I've heard about somebody else having it. And the most important thing that I can take from that, from what you said, that I can relate to on it, is that you have to choose whether, if you do end up having that condition or disease or whatever, how are you going to live if that is the case? Are you going to live your best, life? Are you going to live try to do all of the things that you want to do, or you, exactly like you said, like a lot of people just crumble and give up because, I can relate to a lot of other stuff too right now. I have somebody that's very close to me that's currently, going to rehab, and even before that, like I've heard the words come out of their mouth that like they were just like, kind of like done, like some people don't want to like get the help, so, and like you were saying, some people, they don't want to help themselves, so it's tough, and like it's awesome that like, you're taking the proactive steps to try to, do what you can to make it better, so that's my biggest takeaway, and, props to you. Before I forget, I also want you to touch up on how rare it is actually as a genetic, I guess, disorder, right? Because like your mom obviously has it. How rare is it for you as a man to get it from your mother?
Yeah, so the studies have kind of shown that if your mother has it and you are a female, you have about a 1 in 4 chance. Those are 25%. It's a pretty high number, but it is genetics, so you're passing. A lot of your genes are passed on. But then for men, it's 1 in 5. So I have even less of a chance. And then that window gets even smaller for the amount of people that get diagnosed with this disease at the age of 20. So my chances of getting this disease and everything seem so slim. It's almost like I hit the autoimmune jackpot. It's the lottery. Definitely not a blessing, but just an interesting. It's a tough path to kind of try and mentally figure out. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, statistics don't really matter at the point when you already have it.
Yeah, there's no point in dwelling on it at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like for me with OCD and hypochondria. Like for a long time, especially with my previous therapist, it was always like talk therapy, talking about my past, trying to figure out like, oh, how could this have happened? There's a lot of things that could, be adding up to factor into why like you are this way. But in the end, like with CBT, the current therapy that I'm in, a lot of that doesn't even matter. It's like you have it, and now it's time to like deal with it the proper way. No point on like dwelling on it. Like for your case, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like you have it, so
the longer you dwell on it, the less time you have to actually try and be proactive.
Right. Every
day that goes by that you're not working on something, regardless of what it is.
Right.
That problem's only going to get worse. You let a problem keep going, it's going to build up. I just want to keep my, my biggest goal is just to keep myself moving,
Yeah, for sure.
For a lot of people, they think, that's a really small goal. But I want to keep moving for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. And with movement is freedom. You know what I mean? If you don't have movement, you got to call somebody to move you. I'm not, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit like how tough it's been over the last year for you. Obviously with the pandemic and us not being able to work and any other things that I think you might want to mention as well.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of the pandemic and everything, I've gone through a lot of different things. I mean, mental health obviously has been a big issue for a lot of people in this time. You lose that social connection, you're losing your friends. The social distancing is really just becoming like you're just distancing from everyone. It's like you think, like, oh, okay, we do some Zoom calls, but eventually that dies off, and then and it's not the same. You need to be able to interact with people in person and do different things.
We already have enough like electronic connection right now.
For sure.
And that's damaging towards us already. So now you add a little bit more.
Like we're turning into like robots.
Literally, yeah. The human connection is like we're losing it a little bit. So we don't really know the damage that this last year is going to cause for all kinds of people. So for somebody that's in like your situation, I've obviously had my own stuff. We have no idea what people are going through, and unless we like talk about it and share each other's stories. And if there is anything that is beautiful to take from, I guess, like being so connected now with like the internet and social media and all of that, you do get to, I guess, like hear about this kind of stuff. But I guess the fake side of social media is that like you only see people's best lives and like they're them doing cool stuff. And I know that like I want to be transparent with that, and I know I'm guilty of it. You know, a lot of my social media just looks cool and fun, but it's not real life. You know, I think even just like, you know, being real and transparent like we are and just talking about real stuff, like, it's important. You know, a lot of people don't talk about it, and you know, I think a lot of men don't really necessarily talk about it either. That's like a problem in its own. But you know, we're alpha males, but you know, we still talk about our feelings, boys and beauties.
Cry a little bit, you know?
Cry a little bit. Is there any other, I guess, just like past mental health, I guess, circumstances that you'd maybe like to share?
When I was about 12 years old, I was, you know, skateboarding and doing different things, and I started having OCD, you know, compulsions and little things that I just was so confused by, you know? And
at that young age, like, it's hard to even be aware of it, and
of course,
you know, like, what's going on, or like, I don't know if it's a problem or if it's not a problem, how to fix it, or if there is a way to fix it, you know. Yeah, it's tough.
And I definitely think that the OCD drove my anxiety through the roof, or maybe it was one way or the other, you know, maybe the anxiety caused the OCD, I'm not sure. But I struggled with that for a long time. But throughout my life, I just kind of taught myself, like, you got to just keep getting over that hurdle, you know, keep getting over that next hurdle, because they're just going to keep coming. And I'm really glad that I kind of learned that when I was younger, because once I got diagnosed with RA, it was like, wow, like, I already jumped over all these hurdles, I already ran all these marathons to get to this point, to get to another mountain that I got to climb that mountain and get to the top and know that now I still got to, you know what I mean? It's like the journey never ends.
Yeah.
The problems never end. But at least I knew at that point in my life, it's okay. You know what I mean?
That's the biggest takeaway right there. And like, even with, you know, RA getting thrown at you after all of that other stuff happening, was your mindset like, okay, I'm going to beat this too?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, especially having my mom with RA as well, you know? It's like, what am I going to do? Just give up for the both of us, you know?
Yeah.
She's already at she's only 47, but her RA progressed so much because she wasn't diagnosed early enough. That she's not really, you know, she's not as mobile anymore. She's disabled. But I don't want to, you know, I couldn't get that disease and just shut down too. You know what I mean? I knew at that age, I said to myself, okay, we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep learning. And I tried to follow the regular protocol at first that my doctor was giving me, and I was asking more questions. And that's great. You know, I was finally got on some medications and I started feeling a little bit better. But those hurdles kept coming. You know what I mean? And every 3 months getting my blood work done and trying to stay on track and trying to make sure I'm healthy. And I cut dairy completely out of my diet, and, you know, doing all these different things and like regulating myself. And it's hard, right?
But it adds up too, and it helps, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, it adds up, and every little thing that you do, it can benefit yourself, right?
Or hurt you.
Hurt you. But it adds up. So I try to just keep myself on a path of just like going, you know, uphill in the right direction. Because, I mean, obviously you can hit those times where you go downhill, right?
Yeah.
But you just got to know when you're in that downhill, like, yo, we got to turn this around real quick.
Yeah.
Or we're going to keep going downhill and then we're going to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then can you get yourself back up from there again? Like, you don't want to get that low, you know?
Yeah. And I found for me, like, you know, I've had a lot of just slip ups like that, you know, and still to this day, whether, you know, it's kind of like we talked about earlier, your moral compass gets thrown off. It's like, you know, you're driving, you have Google Maps, you have your directions, and then you stray off the path, and then it's like, hey, you're supposed to go this way over here, you know, and then, you know, that goes with, you know, our health, you know, our mental health, and, you know, just our morals and what we do. So, yeah, I get it. And I think just, you know, to be okay with, like, you know, slipping up every now and then, but like learning from it and just quickly. Yeah, that's the thing, because you don't want to, like you said, keep going back down to like that rock bottom. So,
yeah, I mean, I definitely think for a lot of people, they have these things come into their life and they keep letting them affect them so much. You know what I mean? They keep letting people influence them to the point where they're not happy. But I guess for me, especially once I learned that I had an autoimmune disease, it's like that I'm going to live with that for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
it's not, you know, until they come up with a cure, it's not going away. So I guess I already had a mentality of like kind of letting go of the past, letting go of the past and learning
Yeah.
from the mistakes. So once I got RA, I said, okay, you know what? It's just another thing that I have to learn from, another thing I have to keep pushing on, and just keep growing. And I think that despite a lot of negative things happening, it changed my mindset and it shaped me into the person who I became. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I'm happy about that in a way.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
even if I end up not being able to move one day, at least I can share the knowledge that I've learned and keep helping other people. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And, I know you've told me that like you'd like to maybe do something almost this. Hopefully this can be like a Kickstarter for both of us, because for both of us right now, this is like our first time doing this. So I don't know, man. I think there's great information on your side and my side, and I just hope that people can really like benefit and learn from this. Hopefully we can help people with this. I know time, it's gonna take time to just reach more people, a broader audience, but I don't know if there's enough people like talking about this. So I know you've said that you've been doing your research. I've done a ton of research for my what I deal with, and still to this day there's not a lot of like content out there that like resonates with me that I can relate to. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I'm sure it's probably the same with RA, right? Especially like somebody like your age, because how many other kids out there have it and are like really like talking about it and talking about their stories.
Yeah.
And especially for you, yeah. And I know you have like some people in your life that you like are able to talk to about it and relate to, but
that's actually a good point. I just wanted to speak on that. Is a lot of the times when you have these different issues, regardless of what it is, you know what I mean? Mental health or autoimmune disease or just like literally anything, someone else is going through the exact same thing somewhere in this world.
And knowing that you're not alone is huge.
It's huge,
because
man.
Let's go back to the giving up thing. Like some people like they hit so low that like they completely give up, or maybe even like take their own life. Unfortunately, like that sucks. That's horrible. Like there's definitely like some selfishness there, but like also they just didn't get like the proper help. Maybe they just didn't talk about it. Whatever. Like it's not like I'm saying that that's not just for people that take their own life or whatever. That's just for people that like give up. That's
Just
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah. So, and I'm happy that you and I have not given up, and we don't plan to. Like life throws us another curveball, but we run with it. And just roll with the punches. And we have to expect that. Life is tragic. Like I was saying earlier, like I think. Yeah, it's nice to watch like people's like vlogs and everyday stuff, and it's like all happy and positive and energetic and all that. But is it realistic?
For sure.
No. Like,
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have those times where you can hop on YouTube and you can watch someone's video and they're motivating and they're happy.
Sure.
And that's great. I'm sure that's not how they are off camera, but there's definitely a big hole in the YouTube and vlogging and just media in general about like mental health and people's like more like how they're handling on the daily and stuff like that. Like I'm reaching out and trying to find more people and build more of a community around me, so that I have more people to talk about RA, you know what I mean? And have that connection, because when you just live with that problem alone,
it's hard.
It's so hard. And when you start making those connections, you start realizing, oh, we can do this. Because when you're by yourself, that's a lonely team. But when you got 10, 15, 20 people, or even just one person, even if it was just me and you talking, you know what I mean? Being able to have that conversation it's life-changing.
It really is, yeah. And still to this day, we were talking a little bit earlier, you can relate a little bit with some, like hypochondriac tendencies. I think anyone with like any anxiety or OCD can relate a little bit, especially, during a pandemic. I think a lot of people's health anxiety has definitely increased. But for me, I have a pretty big network. I know a lot of people. I've been, around just, and, I'm a very social person, and, still to this day, off the top of my head, I really only know, I think, like maybe two or three people that have like, you know, OCD or like health anxiety or hypochondria to the same, I guess, degree that I do.
Definitely.
And one of them is my therapist, and it's crazy. That was like just a miracle almost.
Blessing in disguise.
Literally blessing in disguise, because, you know, I had done my research for a long time. You know, I knew what was going on with me. I tried to find like the best place possible to get help, found it, you know, talked to them, told them exactly what's going on, and they're like, we know exactly who it is. And, you know, it was just like, it was just meant to be, I swear, because, you know, he used to have, or still has, you know, OCD, hypochondria, and he used to be a trainer, which is crazy. So like,
yeah, very relatable.
Very relatable.
Feels
yeah.
good, you know what I mean?
It feels good,
when you
yeah.
Someone that's like, oh, you see their progress and you see their change, or
Yeah.
you see what they've done, and you're like, oh, I can do it. Yeah, I can follow that path. I'll do what he did, or do better.
I ask all the time, just like, I'll just try to compare myself right now to where he is now, or even just like him, you know, just like miles ahead of me. Because I like to like just, I don't know, just kind of measure where I'm at, you know? So I'll be like, okay, so where were you kind of when you were dealing with what I'm currently dealing with? How long did it take you? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's different for everyone. But even just knowing that, like, he knows that, like, I like to hear it because it gives me, like, hope and confidence and positivity, reassurance.
Nice.
Exactly. And it's not like, you know, even he is just, like, worry, stress, anxiety free. Of course, things come up and come every now and then. So, but just to the point with, even like with your situation or mine, just so you can get it to like a stable point where it's like manageable and like you're able to just live happily, freely. That's like the biggest thing, because like with, you know, any kind of autoimmune disease, mental health, like you don't feel free. You feel captive. You literally feel like a prisoner. Trapped, literally. And like, yeah, I think probably the biggest takeaway that we can take from all of this is that like you're not in this alone, and we're speaking to everybody on that. And yeah, I know I've said it before in my first video, I'm saying it again now. I want to build a community with as many of you as possible. With you, I know you want to start to do stuff like this. I support it. We support you. Like, let's just, I don't know, I have a great feeling about all this, and let's just have it skyrocket and try to help as many people as possible.
Sure, man. Yeah, I mean, like getting that network out, building your own community.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, whoever wants to be a part of that community, whether it's ectomorph, people with mental health, people with, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, you're a really great guy, and people can take a lot of different points away from you, whether it's training tips or just like that funny comedy when it is that time, or the mental health tips when it is that time. I think that it's going to be a groundbreaking type of vlogging style, new content that isn't.
Well, yeah. Camera's cut out there.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Basically, I think what we were talking about was just, building that community, the importance of, you know, just these kinds of conversations. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Gavin, for you know, being a part of, you know, helping me out with kind of getting my story out there. And then thank you for sharing your story. You know, I know it's vulnerable for you and I, but it's important. Yeah, these are things that like we want to, you know, just talk about and spread awareness of. And as long as it helps like one other person, like
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So thank you guys. I'm sure you'll be seeing more of Gav.
Sure. So
hopefully he starts to, you know, do a little bit of his own content like this. Definitely check out his work. His photography and videography is unreal.
Check me out on Instagram, Looking Photos, LUEKING Photos. It's like Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, we'll link all of his socials in case you guys can't spell or
can't listen.
Can't listen. You're illiterate.
In case you listened to this 30-minute conversation, you didn't hear any of it.
Congrats and shout out to all of you that made it all the way through this.
Appreciate it.
You're the real ones.
Thanks for listening to me talk. Didn't think I was really a long podcast, vlog style format type of guy, but we made it through.
I guess we're podcast guys now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Of course, yeah. Good talk and good workout and good skating today. And
sore, man. Can't wait to get home.
That was a long day. It was literally like a 12-hour day. So, yeah. Thank you guys.